Welcome to Love Can Do It, where we showcase love and the people that live it and promote it. My guest tonight is Dr. Cheryl Scheurer, and Cheryl teaches us about how to bring in more money into our lives. And we all want that, don't we? So let's give a hand for Cheryl, and here she is. Thank you, Dr. Cheryl, for being here tonight. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you for inviting me.
So you have been, you're an author, you're an entrepreneur, you're a public speaker, you're a minister, and now you're dealing with money and teaching people how to bring in money into their lives.
Yes, and I host my own show.
And you're a producer too. Yes, that's right. We'll talk about that too. So why are you dealing with money right now? What's that about?
Well, I got back into the corporate world and I was just appalled on the inequities and et cetera. So I decided to start writing about changing the way we approach the money and the whole system, actually, in the business community. So I started writing about 3 years ago and published my first book. And so it's been a passion for me. And the most important thing is your mental attitude, your thoughts that you have about money. So what I focus in is trying to teach, not trying, but teaching how to mentally discipline yourself, because everything starts with your mind, and then of course we feel it. But when you can discipline yourself to stop thinking any negative things, it takes discipline.
So is that the connection, excuse me, with the love? Because this show's about love?
Because it starts with your thoughts.
Right.
Everything starts with your thoughts. You know. So when you have discipline in your mind with your thoughts and also with love. Now, for me, the most important thing is unconditional love.
Yes.
But it also starts with the mind.
Yes.
Everything, and then the emotion comes after the mental thoughts. But unconditional love.
In terms of training ourselves to stay in that state, is that what you're referring to?
Yes, and it takes, just like Warren Buffett says, the two most important things is unconditional love and no doubts.
Oh, I love that.
So no doubts.
That takes discipline.
It takes discipline,
Yeah.
and so if you're not disciplined, you're not going to be able to do it. But everybody has the capability of doing that. It just takes practice. Sometimes it's easier to write it down, so you get it in your body, that mind-body connection. So it just takes discipline. I remember when I first started this 20 years ago in changing my mental attitude and my feelings towards it. I'd catch myself thinking that a negative thought, and I'd yell out, "Stop!" I physically, with everything I did that, because we have to change our thinking. And sometimes it's old programming. It's programming from when you're a child, or your caregivers or your teachers or whomever. It's negative. Like, what do you think? Money grows on trees?
Right.
I mean, that's negative. Or I don't have enough money. Right there. That's lack thinking. You've got, and to counter that is like, okay, let me save enough money, and I'll buy that. I mean, it's saving, it's being practical with your money, application, and another thing that our society, and it's not just the American society, is instant gratification. We're so spoiled in this country, and look what's happened. I mean, the Madoff and the Lehman Brothers and all the companies the greed, lack of spirituality. That's lack of love. I mean, it all comes down to love, really, the lack of spirituality. And so unconditionally loving yourself and staying on that spiritual path. Now, Deepak Chopra says that spirituality is self-awareness. Now, to me, I want to master my self-awareness. And it takes discipline, and practice, meditation, prayer, whatever works for you.
Excuse me, how do you feel about manifesting money? I mean, have you got some tools for us about that? I know you've been in the corporate world and you're very adept in that, and now you're dealing with the spiritual aspect of money. Is that part of it?
If you know your passion, when you know your passion and what your purpose is, it just starts happening.
Okay, yes.
It just starts happening.
Yes.
It's happening for me.
That's great.
And I'm being great. You know what? Another key is not only your attitude, which all starts with your mind, but being grateful for what you have.
It opens vortexes
because
up, doesn't it?
If you're not grateful for what you have, as small as you think it may be,
right,
it's all relative.
Yes.
You know, so if you're grateful, then more comes. I mean, I'm just so blessed right now with what's unfolding for me, because I've had some serious losses in my life. Twice. I had to file bankruptcy in my lifetime. And it wasn't necessary. I mean, I take responsibility, but I trusted somebody, and somebody that I didn't trust myself.
Mm-hmm.
If I had loved myself enough, and that was a few years ago, but if I'd loved myself enough, I would have listened to myself, and I wouldn't have gotten involved in it. But, you know, we have to learn our lessons. You know, I mean, we don't have to, but I choose to learn from everything, every challenge that I have, so I can be free. And that's the whole thing, is being free.
Absolutely.
We want to be free, mentally, emotionally, spiritually,
yes.
So you can be spiritually free.
And that's the point of bringing money in too.
Yes.
And we can be more loving. It's not that we can be more loving, but we can relax more and help our friends and our family.
Yeah,
and
I mean, money is just a tool.
Yes.
Money's an energy. So yes, it's important to have money, but that is not. It's, you know, they say money's the root of all evil. It's not. Mm-hmm. It's not the money. It's the attitude that one has towards it. I mean, there's a lot of criminals out there, white-collar criminals, that have been manifesting all over the world, and it's the lack of love. When it really comes down to it, if they love themselves enough, or if they had enough supporting love around them, they wouldn't want to go out and, you know, go after that buck. You know?
Right.
I mean, it's sad that happens, but it happens. But, you know, I want to say, you know, love yourself unconditionally. And when I speak in front of groups of people, I always say, how many of you have written on your mirror, I love myself unconditionally?
Yes.
And you keep it on your mirror for 28 days at least. I think Deepak Chopra says 21 days. I say 28. Some psychologists say 28. It doesn't. But anyway, in that time frame, when you're, you know, when you get to that point, so you can be happy and free, that's the most important thing. I mean, the money happens. It just happens. Yes, you know, if you follow your passion, your purpose.
Right. That's the three things that you're talking about: the gratitude, following your passion, and loving yourself unconditionally.
And loving yourself unconditionally comes first.
And loving yourself, yeah, of course it does. Yes, that's the beginning of it.
Yes.
Yeah, because then you're going to follow your passion.
Yeah, because once you feel that,
and be grateful.
Yes,
grateful.
And when you feel that love towards yourself or that happiness inside,
yes,
everything flows.
Yes, it does.
Everything flows.
Yes, doesn't it?
You know, and then when you start getting like a negative thought, you can switch it off like that.
Right.
Life's too short.
Now, do you have any suggestions for us about how to love ourselves unconditionally?
Well, first of all, write it on your mirror.
Uh-huh.
And have it everywhere that you can possibly see, in your car, mm-hmm. at work, mm-hmm. On your desk, you know, anywhere in your house, on your refrigerator. So it gets in your subliminal mind, or your unconscious mind. So it's subliminally put into there, so you have it in your mind.
We're brainwashing ourselves.
Well, it is.
It is. I mean,
I don't like to use that terminology,
it's true,
but it's true.
It's okay.
It's okay because it's for the positive.
Yes.
So loving yourself unconditionally. And, you know, making a goal, and, you know, and also being a mature, have a mature way about spending your money.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I can go on and on about, you know, percentages that you could spend to be the practical approach. I mean, don't always give in to your addictions, because it can be addictions, you know.
Right. Now let's talk about your show. Let's hear about your show.
Well, I'm very excited about that because it just started. The first episode started last night.
That's so exciting.
And I was running around like a chicken to get it all done, but it worked. I had to finish up the editing, and it's Wake Up with Dr. Cheryl.
That's on Marin TV.
Yes, on Marin TV.
Great.
Thanks to all the support of their wonderful staff.
That's wonderful.
Wealth Transformation.
Yes, let's see your book.
This is the first book.
That's great.
Anyway, it's all beginning.
Oh,
it's
that's
all
so
beginning, and
wonderful.
we're going to do a whole series, so it'll be through the whole season. And I have guests lined up through the whole season.
That's
so it's very exciting.
So you've gone from corporate into the spiritual world of finances.
Well, I started actually working when I was 10, like babysitting, you know, and my grandmother always said, save your money, save your money, save your money. So I'm very good about saving. And then my father was an engineer with Boeing, and he was laid off. So he started his own business. I got involved in it. It was an auto parts store, which, you know, was certainly not very glamorous for me, but I really learned, no pun intended, the nuts and bolts of business.
Right, right.
But from there I went into banking, and then I started my own accounting practice, tax planning, and for 17 years I did that. And then I got back into the corporate world. I became a single parent in that time, and in the economy and everything. I went back into the corporate world, which was good, except that I would inevitably run into unethical stuff. And
yes.
I can't play that game,
yes.
so I'd end up having to leave or was forced to leave, and so I decided this is enough. And it was around 2008, 2009 that all that came out, so that's when I started writing my book and speaking, and so now the show is happening. I did an interview on SF Live TV last year and a half ago, and I thought, this is great.
Dr. Cheryl, excuse me, we're coming to an end. Now, have you got a few words that you would like to give to the viewers? Advice?
Love yourself unconditionally, and don't give in to all those whims of everything you want to spend your money. Be practical. Save your money. Save your money. And also tithe. Give, tithe, you know, but save your money and be practical. Do a budget. You know, most people don't want, it's discipline. It takes discipline. If you really want to get ahead, it takes discipline. And
well, thank you so much. And love yourself. It's a big one. And
unconditionally.
Thank you.
Thank you
Appreciate
so much.
so much
Thank
for
you
being
for having me here.
And thank you for joining us tonight. It was very interesting, wasn't it? Money. We're all very interested in that. And thank you to Marin TV and to my wonderful crew. I love you guys. And I'd like to introduce you to my book, Every Moment is a New Beginning in Love. It's about finding more happiness by increasing our love. See you next time. Thanks for joining us.